Okay, so the second question I'm not going to spend a ton of time on. You can read about it. The key is this is the first English lasting settlement, 1607 Jamestown. We can talk about stories we know. Hopefully you've seen the historically accurate Pocahontas. Um, we'll look at some of the explorers. The Virginia Company, again, is so important to understand that this colony was started to make money. It was not started to spread religion like the Puritans, separatists, which is in chapter 3. So when we think of a colonist, we always think of what they looked like. These people were there to make money. I'm not saying they weren't Christian, it just wasn't their reason they were there. I'm sure when they were there, they were doing a lot of praying as they were dropping like flies from disease and starvation. So anyway, this was a joint stock company. Again, its goal was to make money. Okay, I already said that. John Smith, when it got bad, you can read this again, all on page 30 and 31. I don't think you need to know tons of detail on that. We might read a couple of his writings. He's the guy who saved them, and his ethic was if you don't work, you don't eat. Again, lots of diseases. The chief Powhatan, he was, and you can read about the wars between the first English settlers and this Native American group. And Powhatan, Pocahontas' father, she goes and throws herself on the stone, and based on one sentence that John Smith wrote, we have the whole legend and lore of Pocahontas. And she didn't marry him. She married John Rolfe, went back to England, and died. But anyway, this is the first lasting original colony. I do like to show this. It's kind of funny to see who settled there, and just see who was doing the thinking here before they left. So you had the first settlers, council members. Of course, they were all men, and the native people thought, what a bunch of weirdos. They had a preacher. They probably could have used more of them. Gentlemen. Okay, these are men whose goal in life is to do no work. But we have lots of them coming along. Have a few carpenters, a blacksmith, a sailor, a barber. You need to look good when you're out in the middle, which is just like going to the moon, these people. Bricklayers, a mason, a stone guy, somewhat different, I guess. A tailor. You want your clothes to look good. Drum, I guess that's somebody who announces your arrival. They did have a few laborers, a surgeon, which was the same as the Grim Reaper back in those days. I don't know what this means. It's just weird. So my point is, it's just kind of funny to see what did they think. I didn't see any farmers there. I didn't see anybody who knew about hunting. Well, gentlemen would know about hunting in England, but I doubt they're going to know the kind of hunting that would keep them alive. Okay, number 3, we're just going to throw that in. Describe the cultural and social changes that Indian communities underwent in response to English colonization. Okay, Jamestown is in the Chesapeake Bay region, what we know as Virginia today. And at some point, if you look on page 31, it's a real close-up of a map. So that's the area we're talking about. It kind of shows it in relation to where it is in the United States. Okay, it's current day. Yeah, already said that. So these 3 things are sort of interchangeable for a while. When we talk about Jamestown, we know it's going to be in the future colony of Virginia, and it's the Chesapeake Bay or just the Chesapeake region. And these have significant, we're going to compare them to the New England colonies, so just keep that in mind. I believe I talked about the Spanish colonization and versus the English relationship to Native Americans in chapter 1 notes. Basically, the Spanish mixed with them and the English pushed them out. Okay, so review those notes. I like how your book talks about the 3 Ds of native misfortune. They're on page 33 on the top right. Disease, disorganization, and disposability. Disease, check, we got that. Once disease hit, many bands would form together and try and create something new. Well, it just wasn't going to be the same. So if you're not organized to fight a force like European settlers, you're going to lose. And disposability, yeah, they all got along. We had the first Thanksgiving in the next chapter. The natives helped the Jamestown settlers. Bad choice. And so, but eventually they don't need them and don't want them. Some other effects of European colonization on native people, the Indians' New World. Horses, that came from Europeans. They encouraged migration to the Great Plains of the Sioux, and we'll see the Sioux are going to be difficult to defeat. And we think of Indians, wrong word, on horses. Well, this was completely European, you know, creation for them. That's going to change everything. Obviously, disease. We've talked about that. Intertribal fighting due to the new desire to trade with Europeans to acquire guns. They realize eventually, after they're being scared to death, the importance of this firepower. So now they're going to compete with each other. That goes along with the disorganization stuff. So, you know, a house divided against itself can't stand, and that's what's going to, they don't unite. Later on, Tecumseh tries to do that, and it still doesn't work. So eventually, they are no longer needed, and they are pushed west.